All right, the board meeting will be starting in about 3 minutes. And so as the board meeting prepares to start, anyone else that wants cookies or drinks, just either you can come up, or if you raise your hand, we will happily serve you. Right, Mr. Garrett? So in about 2 to 3 minutes, they're going to be getting started.
Look at this room full of such great educators. It is so wonderful to have you here. Principals, our instructors. It's so nice to have you here tonight. So we are going to begin our meeting with roll call. Here.
Mr. Munoz. Mrs. Stewart Campbell. Dr. Bonebrake.
Present.
Mrs. Schmidt. Not present. Dr. Schumacher
Here.
and Mr. Tatum.
Here.
Thank you.
We have a very special event tonight. We are recognizing our 25-year employees in Topeka Public Schools. Dr. Anderson?
Yes, ma'am. Ask this question. So for our board clerk, do we need to do the Pledge of Allegiance first, or can we go right on into our reception?
Well, are the students here that are going to read the pledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
We could do that now.
Okay. And if we start with the pledge, then when we start this meeting, Madam President, at 6 o'clock, we'll have to stop with our highlights to do the budget hearing, and then we'll pick back up with highlights quite possibly. So we'll turn it over to for our Pledge of Allegiance. So for our seniors of the month, we have 2. Come right on up. You didn't know you were going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. We have a second senior of the month. And you can stand right here and look towards the flag. And it should pick up your voice just fine.
Okay.
So, we'll go ahead and start.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, thank you. You will get a chance to listen and learn a little bit about our Seniors of the Month and a little bit after our reception. So our 25-year event this evening. So tonight, we have the opportunity to celebrate individuals who have been with us for 25 years. As we prepare this celebration, I'm going to ask our board members to please come here in the middle, because as we call the names of these distinguished employees, our board members will be standing right behind you. And Dr. Gray will share with you how the evening will proceed. We are excited to see a room full. Dr. Gray.
Again, thank you so much, Dr. Anderson, and welcome everyone. We're so excited this evening for our 25-year employees. And remember, as we celebrate these individuals, we are celebrating those individuals who have been in Topeka Public Schools for 25 years. Oftentimes, there's some confusion as to whether or not it's 25 years in education. Remember that this is 25 years in Topeka Public Schools. So again, we really appreciate you. At this time, we're gonna call the names. We're gonna ask if the supervisor will also come, and we're gonna honor the individuals on tonight. So again, we begin with Miss Johnny Banks.
Oh, I'm sorry, and this one, I said we would come to you. All right, so she's unable to come all the way up here. So we're gonna do something a little bit special for Miss Banks. And Miss Banks, you can stay right where you are. And I think your principal, in this case, I'm trying to think how the board members might take a photo. This is gonna make this kind of fun. They're gonna come. All right, first of all, congratulations on your 25 years. And I believe we're getting a photo over here.
Okay, everyone, look right here. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
And again.
Kelly Barnett of French Middle School. Yes, Ms. Hoffman.
All right. Congratulations on your 25 years. And now right in the middle of your photo of you, Mr. Hoffman, can you come right on next to your seat number? Okay, and look
Nancy Bloomcamp. Yes.
And no, there she's coming on. First of all, congratulations on your 25 years. All right, and Dr. Harrison, can you slide on in? And they'll find the window around you.
Everyone, look right here. 3, 2.
Melanie Brown of Highland Park High School.
Congratulations on your 25 days of service. And then if I can receive them, they all want to say.
Another 25.
So. So I'm just gonna, put in and out a little bit, we'll get here. Thank you. Thank you.
We also have Jennifer Carter of Whitson Elementary. She couldn't be here tonight. Let's just give her a hand. Lisa DeWitt of French Middle School. Debbie Dickerson of McCarter Elementary. Karen DeTomo of Sheldon Head Start. Amy Felsberg of McEachran.
She and her teammate that'll be coming on, they have worked together for 25 years. They started at the same school together and they're now still together.
And also of McEachran Elementary, Jennifer Gilbreth. Patricia Gillen of Jardine Elementary. Sandra Harter of Quinton Elementary, excuse me, Quinton Heights. Sandra Harter. Peggy Hidalgo of Topeka High. Melissa Holsing of Quinton Heights.
Congratulations, thank you.
Carleen Lister of Burnett. Tyrone Lunkins of Randolph Elementary. Victoria Richmond of Williams Elementary. Guadalupe Rojas of Highland Park High. Tracy Rowe of Jordan Middle School, she is absent. Let's give her a hand as well. Jeffrey Schwilling of Information Technology. Amy Scott of Lynn Education Center, she is absent as well. Let's give her a hand. Jennifer Stahlbaumer of Chase Middle School. Pamela Vandervoort of Topeka West. Tony Vargas of French Middle School. Also Timothy Wilson of French Middle School. And last but not least, Jared Young of Cap City. Let's give all of our 25-year employees another round of applause.
That does conclude this portion of the ceremony. We are still in the highlights phase. And so while our board members are still here, we have our seniors of the month that also need to be awarded. We have principals in our audience, and as we are celebrating our 25-year, we also want to acknowledge our principals while they are still here. First of all, we have a principal that just received his doctorate today. He just attended 2 hours ago. Dr. Gardner, would you please stand, sir? As we're done with this portion of the 25-year, if you will indulge, since all of you are supported by some pretty incredible principals, we also have given every principal a certificate as well, just for excellence in service. And so just so the public knows the faces with the names of every one of the schools, I'm going to ask Ms. Sharp to come forward and to read off the elementary principals. And if they are here with an assistant principal or a dean or an admin intern, feel free to please stand as well. And I think, Dr. Gray, you have the high school list and the middle school list. And as she calls your name, board members, it's going to be hard to do all these principals. They already were getting their certificate on the way up. They're going to all the names we call, and they'll just one who are with the board. We support you and we love you. And this will be our new tradition to make sure we celebrate you on the final board meeting of the year.
All right, we'll start with the best group first, elementary. First up at Highland Park Central is Miss Jana Abernathy. Her assistant principal is Tanae Forsberg.
Okay.
All right, Jardine Elementary is Miss Angela Pomeroy, and she is represented tonight by Ashley Wagers. Bowman Hill is Miss Jennifer Norton. McCarter Elementary is Miss Kathy Cooney, and she is represented by Monica Tiller. McClure is Dr. Chelsea Artzer. McEachran is Vic Williams. Meadows is Miss Nicole Johnson. Quincy is Miss Julie Crow. Randolph is Melissa Wells Martin. Ross is Dr. Nick Gardner. That's the first time I got to say it. Woohoo! Scott Dual Language is Miss Ann Gorsuch. State Street, Paige Roberts. Whitson is Mrs. Keelan Pierce. Williams Magnet School is Carrie Ritter, represented by Miss Diane Denmark. All right, that is all of our elementary principals. Oh, yes, I can keep going. All right, up next is College Prep Academy, Adrian King. Chase Middle School is Miss Yvonne Spalding. Eisenhower Middle School is Scott Schwartz. I saw Miss Keegan. Miss Tracy Keegan is here as well. French Middle School is Miss Kelly Hoffman. Oh, Mr. Gay, I missed you. Come on up, Robert Gay.
Year was 2 years ago, right?
All right, Jardine Middle School is Mr. Mike Hare. Landon Middle School, Miss Stacy Schreiner. Robinson Middle School is Miss Strom. Capital City High School is Miss Erin McCoy. Oh, Miss Keck. There's Miss Keck. Come on up here. This is Andrea Keck from Ross. All right. Highland Park High School, Miss Julie Watson. I'm going to get there. Hope Street, Mr. Dale Knoll. T-Calc, Mr. Dustin Dick. And Miss Jessica Johnston. Topeka West is Mr. John Buckendorf. Topeka High School, Miss Rebecca Morrissey. Avondale Academy is Dr. Joy Grimes. Pine Ridge Prep Preschool, Miss Gabby Tanner. And Miss Shelley Bonshaw. Shaner Early Learning Academy is Reagan Baxter. And Sheldon Head Start is also Miss Gabby Tanner. I see Miss Hannah Taylor standing in the back, and she is assistant principal at Whitson. All right, anybody else that I missed?
Miss anyone? Anyone that we missed?
Miss Brown?
Someone in the audience said, wow, I was right. These are the people that make it happen every day. And these are the people, when we talk about schools and students and all the great things that are occurring, that are doing it. Thank you for the main things here. Thank each and every one of you. And as the board and I surround you and book in this picture, this will be a new tradition of having everyone show up on that very last board meeting, almost last board meeting. So look this way. Yes.
Hey, Mr. Robbins. Okay, everyone, find a window. 3, 2, 1.
And I'm sorry, Ms. Sharp, should you be in this photo? Mr. Robbins, are you good?
I'm good. Everyone, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
As our principals are taking their seat, we are beginning a video. So we are still 10 minutes out. So please enjoy the video. We have 2 seniors of the month because one was unable to make it during their month. So as we start the video, we'll start our very first senior of the month. We'll rewind that and turn up the volume. And so enjoy the video. Once the video is done, the principal will come up, give our senior a gift, and they will answer some questions. We're going to rewind it one more time. So enjoy Topeka.
I'm Alexis Brosa, and I'm a senior at Topeka High School. I play soccer, I played golf, and I did wrestling for a little while this year. I'm a part of Mu Alpha Theta, NEHS, NHS, Link Crew.
She's been highly involved in a multitude of ways, so she's brilliant. She's one of our co-valedictorians. She has pushed herself academically to take every possible AP level course. She's also someone who has been very involved in student leadership by serving as a link leader and being a mentor for others.
She is the most determined student I think I've ever had in my 19 years of teaching. She has very high goals for herself. And it's important that she be driven in order to achieve those. She's got a life plan set out in front of her, and I think that she's going to be able to achieve that.
My dream job would be orthopedic surgery specializing in sports medicine. Ideally, I'd attend Creighton University. Creighton has an honors program that I just recently interviewed for.
Lexi has always been really mature. She is so inquisitive. She'll ask me questions about, well, what if this? And what if this? And questions that I'm not used to people asking, just this love for learning.
You have to be an incredible time management person to be able to do all she's done. She, I hope, will find time for fun. I'm not sure along the way she's been able to step back and take a breath. If I were to wish something for Lexi, it's that as she accomplishes the goals for the next 12 years, because if she goes into orthopedic surgery, she's got a lot of years ahead of her, that she does find time for herself and she sets time aside.
I think one of the best ways to be successful throughout high school is just to get involved in everything that you can. And throughout your years, you can leave some things behind, but having that broad involvement at the very beginning will set you up for success in being able to be great at what you want to do.
Members of the board and Dr.
Anderson. I don't get to talk much tonight. She is beautiful. She is brilliant. She is brave. And when she said she had soccer practice, I said, it doesn't matter. We'll all be in suits. Come in your shorts. Nobody cares. We just want to be able to congratulate you. She was sick in March, but she is a fabulous young lady. I got to tell you lots about her. So it is my privilege to introduce Topeka High School's March Student of the Month, Alexis Brosa. Lexi.
Today I have with me my mom. You stand up, Mom. And my dad. That's Susan and Bernard Brosa, and also my boyfriend, John Cordova.
We're going to turn it over to the board if they have any questions for you before our next senior of the month is presented.
We're so glad that you decided to come tonight. And since you missed in March, we're happy to celebrate you this month. So thank you. Any questions from the board? Dr. Bonebrake.
Did I hear you were going to Creighton?
Yes, I am.
And my son and daughter-in-law went there, and it was a great experience. So congratulations.
Thank you.
She's too modest, but she was accepted into the honors program there. So very.
Is there anything else that we should maybe know that she's not telling us?
Mr. Munoz has a question.
Mr. Munoz?
Tell us about your experience going through Topeka Public Schools and maybe your high school years, and what was it that helped you to be successful?
I really enjoyed Topeka High School. It was definitely a huge change from middle school. I went to a really small private school, Topeka Collegiate, and I think one of my favorite things about Topeka High was the incredibly diverse population of people, and I got to meet a lot of different people, people who had different interests and goals in life, and I thought that was really cool.
Mr. Tatum.
So Lexi, you really seem like a very, very hard worker. Someone that gets focused on something and you are going to work as hard as you can to accomplish that goal. That's going to take you a lot of places in life. And I know the wrestling, being on the wrestling team, that's a lot of hard work. I know my daughter Olivia was on the wrestling team too. So I know how much effort you guys put into making that be successful. I was struck by something that Miss Morrissey said in the video when she talked about she hoped that you would take some time out to kind of do some things for yourself. I interpreted that as self-care. So I'm curious, have you given the idea of self-care a lot of thought? And if so, maybe what are one or two things that you want to do for yourself?
I think the number one thing I want to do is travel. I would like to study abroad in Spain my sophomore year of college.
Wow.
So yeah.
Very good. Anything else?
Maybe a little soccer on the side.
Anything simpler that you could do that didn't involve necessarily traveling to Spain?
Well, I'd never planned to really play soccer in college, but that's a huge passion of mine, and probably join the intramural or club team at Creighton.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good for you. And something that's goal oriented again, but good for you. You're going to do great things.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. We are so proud of all of your accomplishments and all the things that you're already planned out for yourself. Setting goals is really important, and we can tell you've done that. So congratulations and best of luck. And I hope you'll come back to one of the board meetings in your future and tell us about your adventures.
Okay.
We would love to have that.
Thank you.
Have a really great first year of college. Congratulations.
Madam President, at this time, it is 6 o'clock, and so we'll have to pause for just a couple of minutes. Alexis, please stay with us because we have two seniors of the month, and we will be taking a break for a photo, but very briefly, I'll turn it over to our school board attorney, Ms. White.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. On April 20th, this board approved the notice of publication for the amendment to the 2022-2023 USD 501 budget in the areas of at-risk students and CAPERS. The notice of the hearing was published in the official newspaper, and the hearing was set for this evening. Pursuant to KASA 79-29-29, I officially opened the public hearing on the board's notice to amend the 22-23 USD 501 budget in the areas of at-risk and CAPERS. At this time, are there any members wanting to come forward, members of the public, to have any questions, ask any objections to the proposed amendment to the budget? Are there any patrons wanting to come forward to make any objections, ask any questions? Are there any patrons and members of the public who would like to come forward to make any objections, offer any questions or statements about the proposed amendment to the 22-23 USD 501 budget relating to the at-risk funding and the CAPERS funding? Seeing none, I hereby close this public hearing. And Madam Chair, the board may now consider agenda item 4.1, which is the approval of the amendment to the 2022-2023 USD 501 budget to amend the at-risk funding and the CAPERS funding.
Do I have a motion from the board to accept this amendment? Mr. Munoz.
Yes. Let's take a look here. I move to, let's see here. Sorry, where am I at? Motion adoption.
Motion.
Yeah, here it is. Madam President, I move the board adopt the amended budget as presented.
Do I have a second from the board? Dr. Schumacher? Second? Any, any other discussion or questions? Can we have a vote, please?
Vote is open. Dr. Bonebrake, show of hands. Okay. Are you a yay? Okay, thank you. All votes are in and the motion carries unanimously.
Thank you to our Mr. Minky and all of his team for putting that together for us and bringing it to our attention. Thank you.
Thank you again to our finance team. And as we pick back up with our highlights, we are, please join us in the next video. Then we'll be turning it over to Mr. Buckendorf as we prepare to celebrate our next senior. When we finished our next senior, Mr. Dick also has an announcement he just received from Washburn. Enjoy.
And I'm a senior at Topeka West. My main activity is tennis. I played tennis all 4 years here, but I'm also involved with a bunch of different groups such as Spirit Club, Stuco. I'm in National Honor Society, but I'd say mainly this year, I'm more focused on the athletic side, especially now that it's spring.
Carter's one of those students that's just a real quiet leader. He leads by example. 5 of his 5 classes are AP classes. Most kids, their senior year, they want to try to take their senior year off. He's actually challenged himself even more.
Carter currently plays #1 singles for us at Topeka West. He played singles as a sophomore in the state qualifier, placed 6th in doubles last year at state. He's a very smart player. He hustles, he refuses to lose. And he drives his opponents crazy because he gets to a lot of balls that the normal people don't.
Carter is a wonderful student. He kind of lives up to his last name. He's pretty cool. He's always willing to hop in on the conversation. He's great at really reading deeply. He has a lot of great interpretation. I think the thing I like best about him, though, is how kind he is. He also really goes out of his way to make sure that his teachers feel appreciated.
My plan is to go to Kansas University, KU, and I want to study in chemical engineering and get a minor in biomedical engineering and go for the pre-med route as well. I've always been really interested in being a doctor, actually, and recently in the past couple of years, that has transitioned to being a surgeon.
I remember specifically one day as a sophomore, he had his whole career planned out on the board. When he was taken as a junior, when he was taken as a senior, first several years in college, medical school, he's got it all planned out. For a sophomore to know that was pretty impressive.
You know, honestly, when you first look at all of the academic achievements that Carter has, it's almost intimidating when he comes into your classroom. He's amazing on the ACT. He takes all of this heavy AP class load and things like that. But he, like I said, he's so humble about it. He is curious, and he's in those classes because he wants to know more about the world.
I might want some advice from him, actually, just because the hard work and effort that he puts in is just inspiring, and that's what it is to others, in his class as well.
It's surreal. It's crazy that I can almost count the amount of days on my fingers that I have left in high school. It's been such a long journey throughout public schools, and it's crazy to almost be over.
Madam President, board members, Dr. Anderson, thank you for this another opportunity to recognize another outstanding 501 senior. I'll just keep it short and brief and hit the highlights. So as mentioned, Carter has continually challenged himself. He is the valedictorian for the class with a 4.53 GPA. And one story I like to kind of share about Carter is, so he was being recruited by KU, was it School of Engineering? School of Engineering recruiter came to school and asked him what his ACT score was. He said a 32, which I think is outstanding on its own. And the recruiter asked him, well, can you get that up just a little bit. Maybe we can find a little bit more money for you. And so Carter took it upon himself to challenge himself and study a little bit more, and took the ACT again and scored a 34 on it so he is accepted to the KU Honors Program and School of Engineering, and wants to be a doctor someday. I would let him do surgery on me those years, just because I know how dedicated he is to learning and perfecting his craft. So one other thing real quick before I turn it over to Carter. So last week we had our United Kansas Conference League tournament, and our tennis team led by Carter captured the league tournament title. And it wasn't even close. We swept the league tournament singles. Carter beat his teammate for first and second. They took first and second. He took first. Our doubles team played each other. Our number one doubles and our number two doubles played each other in the finals. And so we took first and second in the doubles, and won the tournament, obviously, as a team. Coach Davids won Coach of the Year. And teammates Miles and Ian won Players of the Year for the league. So, it's just another outstanding achievement in Carter's cap, I guess, another feather in his cap. And tomorrow we host regionals here at Costover Park, and we hope to bring home some more hardware. And next week at state finals. Yes, absolutely. Little gift here. I got some snacks in there for tennis as well. So these are some things, and then this certificate. Congratulations. Carter, cool.
Thank you all for the opportunity tonight. I really appreciate it.
I'll turn it over to our board.
We always have questions here, but congratulations on all the tennis achievements. Good luck at state.
Thank
Any
you.
questions down? Oh, we got a couple of doctors on our board, so I know we got questions from them. Dr. Schumacher.
Yeah, Carter, congratulations. University of Kansas is also a great school, Dr. Bonebrake. It's where I trained for undergrad and then medical school at KU. I believe you have some people here with you tonight. I would love to hear about them and, kind of the impact that, support that you've had on this journey. And obviously you've done very well and kind of what support you've had in that.
Yes, I have both of my parents here, if you guys can stand. My mom's on a call, and that's right there. Then I also have both of my grandparents here. And then finally, I have my older brother, Corbin, who he graduated from Topeka West in 2019 and is just about to graduate from Washington. And I owe everything to them. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for every last one of them. They motivate me. They've motivated me since I was very young, and I owe it all to them. And so I'm standing here tonight because of my family.
Madam Chair, both of our seniors are Governor Scholars that'll be recognized on Sunday as well. Again, just exemplary young people.
So his grandmother worked for Topeka Public Schools. And when I started working here, I was worked alongside with her. And so I remember just when you said that, I remember you guys when you were little, they'd be in the school sometimes. So that's incredible to have that full circle. So any other questions from the board? Another doctor coming your way.
What medical schools do you plan to apply for? I'm not even suggesting you won't be applying. Which one do you want to get into?
I think my number one option would be Johns Hopkins Medical School, but I'd really like to get into KU Med as well.
Okay. They know what I'm going to say. I did C-sections, hysterectomies as a medical student at Northwestern. I'm not sure you get that kind of experience at very many other medical schools. So, and consider Creighton as well. It's, oh, there's worse places to live than Omaha. But I'm impressed. But remember, golf's for masochists, tennis is for sadists. If you can combine the two a little bit, it'll be psychologically endearing.
Thank you. I gotta pick up golf at some point.
I'm sorry. It's a terminal illness. It's not a game it's a terminal illness.
He is a tennis player as well as a doctor, so
Oh,
you guys are right up the same alley there.
yeah.
Mr. Campbell?
Congratulations. We are so proud of you. And I look around the room and I see some French Falcons and I see like Miss Steinkühler
Yep.
and of course, Beckendorf. There's probably some other Topeka West staff here. So why do you think these people showed up to support you?
I'm not sure. I should be showing up to support them.
I mean, from middle school,
Yes.
right? And that's
And
been
in
a while.
Elementary school as well.
In elementary school too.
I've had so many great educators all the way, starting from kindergarten through elementary school to French, as there's a great group over there, and even the Topeka West with Mr. Beckendorf. And but I don't know, just the support they've given me today and all throughout my education has been just amazing.
We are just so honored that you're here tonight. Thank you, Mr. Beckendorf, for bringing him forward and sharing his accomplishments with us. We have a lot of students of the month that are going to be medical doctors. And so that's what Topeka Public Schools is rolling out. People who feel prepared to go into medical school, engineering school, and we're just so proud of you. So thank you for coming tonight. And
Thank
we
you
wish
all.
you the best of luck. And I hope you come back and tell us about your adventures or what as well.
I plan to.
Thanks. And thanks for your family.
All right, we're going to ask our seniors just to stay for just a moment. We do have a proclamation from our NEAT president, as well as our Region 2 Teacher of the Year. She's one of the state finalists. Let's give them a warm welcome as they come up. It is Teacher Appreciation Week, but in Topeka Public Schools, first of all, we always celebrated the first week of May. Next week, the National Teacher Appreciation Week will still be celebrated, so we'll be celebrating them next week as well. And with that, we celebrate every educator. Everybody is a teacher in Topeka Public Schools, whatever category you're in. So we're going to turn it over to these educators to read the proclamation.
Whereas Topeka Public Schools is proud to join other school districts and education organizations across the country in celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week and National Teacher Day on May 2nd. And whereas Teacher Appreciation Week is one of the most important observances because it brings attention to the teaching profession, which is worthy of honor and praise. And whereas success in Topeka Public Schools begins in the classroom, and our teachers are the people who inspire students every day and instill a lifelong love for learning.
Whereas our teachers are dynamic force in the learning process and consistently exhibit their steadfast commitment to students through their willingness to give their time, energy, talents, and resources. And whereas we recognize that all educators play a significant role in the vitality and economic prosperity of our community because they are the people responsible for shaping our future. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Topeka Public Schools United School District 501, Topeka, Kansas, does proclaim May 1st to the 5th, 2023 as Teacher Appreciation Week.
And as they've read the proclamation, as we're celebrating teachers and future educators, Mr. Dick would like to come forward to share an announcement that he just received within the last hour that further supports high school students as well as our future educators. Mr. Dick.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Earlier today, I had the opportunity and an invitation to attend a major announcement at Washburn University. And I'm sure there'll be more details to come from what they announced today, this evening and tomorrow probably. But basically, there were two scholarship announcements. The first being if you are a graduate of a Shawnee County high school or private school or homeschool, you will receive a $1,000 scholarship per year for 4 years, renewable at Washburn. So that's one significant contribution from Washburn. The second is if you are Pell Grant eligible, or if you have a demonstrated financial need with a household income of $75,000 or less and are a Shawnee County high school graduate, you attend Washburn tuition free. So two significant announcements today.
Takes all of us to make this happen. So we'll be sharing this with our paras, many of whom are graduates of Shawnee County, in addition to our high school students. So we are excited about the announcement, having learned that today. Before we move on in the program with our
May
yes, ma'am.
was there something about CET as well?
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you, Ms. Boley. Sorry. There was also a portion of that too. If you attend Washburn Tech, they'll cover, and there wasn't a lot of details about this, but up to $750 of the cost of your program at Washburn Tech as well. So yes, sorry.
No, I appreciate that. I
Thank
was
you.
excited to hear that part as well. So thank you.
Yes.
Oh, we're so excited. How are we able to thank Washburn? That's what we need to think about is how we can reach out to Washburn and thank them for such a generous gift to all of our students in Topeka Public Schools in Shawnee County.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
So the impact to all of our students and all of our current educators and future educators is amazing. Did you have any questions for our two staff members? We're so excited about that announcement. I was supposed to call them up after the seniors. So as soon as you all finish, I said, come on up. But do you have any questions for our NEAT president, who also has worked in the district in various capacities in special education at the JDC and in other places, or our college prep educator who is also a consulting teacher for the district? You've already talked with her a little bit at a prior meeting. Any questions for them before we proceed on?
Yes, Ms. Stewart Campbell.
I just have a comment. I just would like to thank Mr. Gibson for all his work as the NEAT president. You hear a lot of, you're the NEAT president. And so I know that takes a lot of intestinal fortitude and listening and advocating. And anyway, we all really appreciate you. So thank you.
I thank you.
Any other comments or questions along the board? Mr. Munoz?
Trying to rattle a question, thinking of a question here. I'd love to hear if anyone has heard of things that went on this week that might highlight some of our teachers. There's a lot that's going on, but is there anything that you all can share in terms of different ways that we've celebrated and highlighted what teachers do?
And again, we thank both of you all for being up here with us today. And we do have some principals still left in the room. I see Ms. Hoffman has just left. However, since we have principals, rather than me sharing, I will first of all turn over to Mr. Buckendorf, who's been celebrating teachers all week, as well as all of our schools. Most of the schools have had food trucks and all kinds of activities. We ourselves have been going around and giving out the Nominate a Teacher. We had 271 nominations. We've been trying to get to 271 people. Whew. And letting them know these are parents, these are other teachers, these are colleagues. It's been incredible. Mr. Buckendorf, do you want to share a little bit about how you all are celebrating your teachers this week?
Sure. So it's kind of funny that she happens to be here, but our PTO president is Carter's mom, and they've actually provided quite a few treats for our teachers.
Can we have our PTO president just stand? Thank you so much.
Miss Angela Cool. So they provided quite a few treats. We had a video made by one of our teachers recognizing all the great, they asked students who impacted their life as far as teachers there at Topeka West. And so that we had that video put out today. And like I said, we've just been celebrating and giving them treats and just recognizing them as much as possible throughout the week.
I think you had some community people as well help you celebrate it. Business partners, maybe?
Several of the schools have had
Oh,
business
I've
partners.
seen-
Advisors Excel has been giving catering
Yes.
activities. Each of the schools has been having a special celebration every day. So every day from Monday through Friday. And on that note, and Mr. Dick, I didn't mean to look over you, but I know at TCALC you all have some exciting things, and Mrs. Morrissey, you do as well. Do you have anything you want to add before we turn it over to our I Believe in You video and our any other proclamations?
I will tell you, adults also like
Stickers and Snickers and all kinds of other things. So it's just, but really every day for those that are listening is a day to celebrate an educator. Every day is a day to say thank you and that we believe in them and we love them. So, but this week has been particularly special. With that, as we prepare to continue on, please join us in this final video and then we'll conclude with any final proclamations.
I've been asked to pick one teacher who truly believes in me.
One who inspires me and makes me want to do better.
Has made me want to come to school and who has made a difference in my life.
And I chose you as my person. And so I picked you. You help us through our problems, not really telling us the answers, but you ask questions to get us there, which really helps us learn.
And I picked you because you really help the school a lot, and you make good lectures, and you let me help you wash the tables, and it's really fun.
You know, I started as completely silent. I couldn't talk to anybody. I've succeeded a lot in the past couple of years, and I credit that all to you.
Whenever something happens, you have always looked towards me, and I appreciate that so much because you have given me opportunities that I never thought I would have. There were moments when my life was falling apart, and you picked me up and you motivated me to keep going. You motivate me every day to go out and see what this world has to offer.
Every day I'm walking since sophomore year, I always think about anyone else cares so much about my grades than you. I don't think I would be passing school if it wasn't for Noel.
You always tell us to know thy impact, and you've just truly impacted my life. These 2 years I've spent with you, you've truly made me a better person and a better individual, and I can't wait to one day be the kind of leader and teacher that you are.
I loved it when I was in your class, and it was just the 2 best years of my life. I just wanted to say you were the best teacher I ever had, and I love that you were my teacher for those 2 years in a row.
You put a lot of belief in me, and that just means so much to me because I don't think I've had a teacher believe in me like you have. You haven't given up on me, and I appreciate you so much for that.
I believe in you.
I believe in you.
I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you.
I believe in you.
So when you ask the question, what can we do? How can we thank an educator? Let them know that you believe in them. I think that's probably the most important thing. So over the last 2 weeks, our communications team, as we turn off the video, we took the time to just ask a student, because you believed in me, what was the difference? So to pick one educator. So we continue to ask those that are in the audience, those that are in this room, to continue to demonstrate that I believe in you. So it has been an amazing week and a privilege to work alongside all of our educators. If they were still here, we would be applauding them. But hopefully they're watching online. You won't see that video again until convocation. So we'll be saving it for our new teachers, letting them know that we believe in them and we thank our board for believing in us to do the work that we do every day. I'll turn it over to Madam Chair for any other final items before we close out our highlights and take our photo.
It wasn't fair not to put some, oh, there is Kleenex up here. Oh, good. Been needing that. So we also, as a board, have a proclamation that we would like to read to our educators in the district. And so does everybody have their proclamation? I will start it off. As we celebrate educators, the Topeka Public Schools Board of Education issues this proclamation in support of public schools and educators across Topeka.
Whereas we recognize the dedication, hard work, and commitment of our superintendent, school and district leadership, and our educators, which has been evident in their tireless efforts to provide a safe, equitable, and inclusive learning environment for all students. And
Whereas we believe and support our superintendent, our school and district leadership, and our educators who work to ensure the academic, social, and emotional growth of our students. And
whereas we are committed to working together as a board with school and district leadership to serve and support all Topeka Public Schools students, staff, and families. And
whereas we are committed to ongoing training with the Kansas Association of School Boards to support public education by staying up to date on the latest research and best practices in education, governance, and leadership. And
Whereas, as a school board, we are committed to working in a unified manner in support of Topeka Public Schools. And
whereas we will continue to uphold the district mission to engage, prepare, and inspire our students for a lifetime of learning.
now, therefore, be it resolved that Topeka Public Unified School District number 501 Board of Education does proclaim our unwavering support for public schools and educators across Topeka and acknowledge their incredible contributions to the success and well-being of our students and community.
And be it further resolved that a copy of this proclamation be included in the minutes of the Board of Education meeting, May 4th, 2023.
in witness thereof, we, the staff of Topeka Unified School District number 501, do hereby affix the signature of our board president and the official seal of the Board of Education this 4th of May, 2023.
Madam Chair, with that final proclamation, may we take a 3-minute break to get photos with our seniors of the month?
Yes, and then after that, we need to adopt the agenda. So when we come back, we need to adopt the agenda. It is hard to rein in that Dr. Anderson when she has good news to share. So we have skipped adopting the agenda, so that I need a motion for.
Okay, Madam President, I move the board adopt the agenda as presented.
Do I have a second? Dr. Schumacher?
Vote is open. All votes are in, and the motion carries unanimously.
At this time, I'm looking for some committee updates that you might have to share.
We have,
Oh,
public comments.
oh, public comments. See, we are all over this.
Then we have to do business by consent.
Okay, sorry.
We've been all over, I know.
I know. Boy, I thought I was getting on top of it. I do apologize. So we have public comment. Do we have anybody today that would like to speak to the board?
Madam President, you have one on your seat there.
Will John Parton come to the microphone? Hello, Mr. Parton. I do need to read a statement to you. You have something to hand out to all? Okay, are you listening? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes to address the board. We ask that your remarks to the board be respectful. If you should have a complaint against a specific employee, we ask that you submit your written complaint to the superintendent.
Mr. Martin, I need
If
a
the
copy.
complaint is against the superintendent, please address your written complaint to either me as the board president or to the clerk of the board. Thank you.
Yep, I understand. My name is John Parton. I live at 1606 Southwest Boswell Avenue. I made a Cora request on April 21st. On May 2nd, I was told that the cost to obtain a copy of those documents would be $60. When I asked for a justification for the $60 figure, I was told by an official representative of USD 501 that it would take an hour to make copies and that, quote, this has been the set fee the district charges per hour regarding records requests. When I asked for a written copy of this policy, I was directed to the TPS website's policies and regulations section. I downloaded all 393 PDFs and converted them to a single text document, which I could perform a keyword search. I searched every document and there's no mention of a fixed $60 per hour fee anywhere in any published policy. In fact, the only reference that I found was regulation number 2485-1, which states the opposite in section 3D regarding fees. It says, quote, in which case the hourly wage actually expended by the staff shall be charged. Only after making it excruciatingly clear did I receive a response from a USD 501 representative who said, quote, we could provide you the amount due using the standard rather than the $60 currently listed. I have come to the conclusion that the staff of the Topeka Public Schools are not complying with Cora or with regulations set out by the school board itself regarding reasonable fees. Topeka Public Schools is engaging in a legal practice of artificially inflating or misrepresenting the amount of time or labor involved to fulfill a Cora request. For instance, suggesting that it will take an hour to perform a task which could take a few minutes, or elevating common secretarial or clerical tasks to a more highly paid employee, along with the $60 per hour blanket policy. I'm calling on the board to do the following 3 things. Number 1, obtain a list of people and organizations who paid the district for Cora or FOIA requests, along with data about which employees actually fulfilled those requests. Calculate the actual costs associated with these requests and refund those people or organizations who are systematically overcharged. Number 2, make it clear to administrators and officials that under Cora and regulation number 2485-1, that fees shall be reasonable and to stop the practice of overcharging. Number 3, in order to ensure this doesn't happen in the future, the board ought to amend regulation number 2485 with the requirement that the district produce and publish an annual Cora transparency report, which shall contain a listing of all the Cora requests, along with employees who fulfilled those requests and the amount of time actually spent doing so. It's clear to me there's insufficient accountability, and hopefully such a report will encourage compliance with the law. I have supplied to you, the board, an example of such an amendment.
Time. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. If you have any questions, you know who I am, and you're welcome to reach out to me if you have further questions.
Thank you. We do have that information right here. Business by consent. Do I have a motion? Yes, thank you.
Madam President, I move the board approve the items of business by consent as presented and authorize the board president or superintendent to sign the special project and purchasing contracts for and on behalf of the board.
Do I have a second? Ms. Stewart Campbell? Any questions or concerns? A vote, please.
And the vote is open. All votes are in and the motion carries unanimously.
Board committee reports, any updates that anybody would have? Yes, Mr. Campbell.
So the policy committee met and normally Ms. Schmidt does the update, but she is not feeling well. So I am doing it in lieu of Ms. Schmidt. What the policy committee discussed under Ms. Whiteman's exceptional guidance, we basically, well, Ms. Whiteman, and then there was some discussion, but we updated and simplified language regarding equal employment opportunity, affirmative action, employment discrimination complaints, bullying, education and administrator ethics, maintaining professional staff and student boundaries. There's a lot. Recruitment, selection, and employment of all staff. We also reviewed the nursing recommendations to vision screening. You would have liked that, Dr. Schumacher. And of probably most interest to everybody is student discipline policy 8125. And this is added that when students involved in the same discipline incident are from different USD 501 attendance centers and engaged in the same conduct, that the principals will discuss discipline options and impose the same discipline consequences for each student. So that is now added to our policy. So that's my report.
Any other committee reports? Dr. Schumacher.
Yeah, so technology committee, we did not meet in April. It was the day of the professional development day where a lot of our staff received some training on Synergy. And so we continue to roll forward with Synergy, our student information system. And I believe enrollment has rolled out with Synergy. And the other two updates that Mr. Gowan was so gracious to share with me, just from a technology standpoint, they're looking at renewing the content filter and trying to find some options to consider. And we will likely have a public hearing to that effect as required by the E-rate process. And then we've talked a little bit about the Promethean boards and some of the struggles that we've had with that technology. We've talked about that in technology committee a couple times, and I think we are looking at replacing those with a better option and are in the process of. All right, and we consented.
We did.
Yes. So that's it from our technology non-meeting for April.
Any other committee reports from along the board here? Mr. Munoz.
I was on the policy committee. I didn't make it there, but I did want to report. I reported to DCAC, which met, I believe, 2 days ago, and just shared what we've been up to. I think what most resonated for DCAC members was the announcement of the free lunches for all students for the next 4 years. I think they recognize that hunger is a very real. We've made a name for it, right? The word hangry, right? When we know that when we're hungry, it's hard to concentrate. It's harder to sort of be in a learning mindset. And so I think that resonated most in terms of the impact that it'll have, a positive impact for students that perhaps their own, but also those classmates. So I was happy that they were excited about that. So that's my report.
Can we make salt shakers available?
Any other reports? I have one to share. So I attended the Keisha meeting. They have 2 a year. There is always strong debate about changes in the sports arena, seasons, athletic training, when the seasons can open, et cetera. So there was good debate on that. One of the things that we did pass during that meeting was the ability for our schools to have jamborees with our high school teams. So they have piloted that in a few districts, and they have come up with, all problem solving. So before the season actually starts, it's kind of like the preseason and NFL football. You can play our own local schools, our own local high schools. And so it doesn't have to be your own local high school, but that's one of the things we're missing with our 3 high schools being in different conferences. So we can actually have that ability for them to play against each other in like a preseason jamboree. And so that passed. There were several things that were just changes in language in their booklet and their regulations. There was a particular one about visas, our visa students, that how they're able to enter a season, and help me with my visas. So we have the 2 visas, and so we basically passed that both visas would be able to enter into us. If they entered into your school, then they would be able to enter into the sports program and play, on the teams. There was a lot of discussion about replacement of student, somebody who's already on varsity. And so that was talked about, but it mainly pertains to one boarding school that we have in Kansas. So you can see we talk about all districts all the time, and different sizes. And let's see, I think those are probably the ones that are important for us, as the language changes and our jamborees. And if you have any other questions, I have lots more notes at home, so I can share with you. Since there are no other committee reports, let's go to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to talk a little bit about the strategic plan. We have had quite the day. Ms. Wallace, myself, and a number of people across the district to spend the day with the outside visitation team. Ms. Wallace is going to share a little bit about what that is, and let me place that in context for you. On our website, we're going to just click on the strategic plan. If you are on the website, you can look at About Us or departments, and you can go down to the strategic plan. If you land it somehow on the superintendent's page, again, it'll take you to the strategic plan. On the strategic plan page, for those that want to read the strategic plan, the very most updated one, 2022 through 2026, is posted. Within that strategic plan, we also share our various goals. Those are aligned in such a way that we work towards becoming accredited, fully accredited, which we were fully accredited after 5 years in 2022. On this same page down below, you'll see accreditation report. We're going to click on the 2021-2022 one. The accreditation reports are the accreditation outside review teams. I'm sorry, the accreditation report is the report that 5 years from now we'll receive again. The board might remember that last year we had an outside review team. After 5 years of working through our strategic plan, we then became accredited by this outside review team coming every year for 5 years to make sure we're meeting the goals and giving us a review. So that's what we went through today. Today's year one of the first year of the next set of the 5 years. Anyone watching that wants to read the last report, it is on our website. We're going to close that out on that same page as we look at alignment. So our strategic plan is aligned to our accreditation activities. Also on that same website are our independent reviews. So you will see that the accreditation report references the independent reviews. So on that same website, and we're going to go back there so you can see where that is. You will see independent reviews starting in 2009. You'll see one in 2019, I believe 2022, and I think 2016. So I'll give Mr. Gowan a moment to find where that's at. And as he pulls that up, Ms. Wallace is going to talk about today's visit of the outside visitation team. So you have three pieces there: the strategic plan, which is aligned to the accreditation work, and then our independent review, which is Cross and Joftis, now has a different name, but it's still Dr. Joftis. He's been coming here since 2009, giving focus groups, reviewing data, looking at surveys, spending time in the district, and all of that is then reported back for our accreditation cycle. So having put that in context, you may remember Dr. Joftis was just here reviewing the district and looking at data in September 2022. With that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Wallace about the outside review team and the binder that you have at your table that we looked over today.
Okay, so you each have a notebook in front of you that has this year's year one, cycle 2 report. We have an outside visitation team that is made up of 7 various administrators from across the state. We have representation from Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools, Wichita Public Schools, Dr. Miller, who is our professor for our K-State Leadership Academy, also the former director of accreditation at KSDE. So she is our chairperson for this cycle. So we had an opportunity to share with them today and to have discussion and gather some feedback from them around our next steps for the next 5 years. So that's kind of the report you have in front of you.
So moving forward, as we close this piece out and prepare to turn over matters to the Topeka High Historical Society, if you are someone that has not been on a strategic planning team and would like to serve for next year, we encourage you to look at any of the goals and sign up, and you can certainly serve. Ms. Stewart Campbell has been serving in support of really working on dual language, and that some of the work that we've done with having a K-12, pre-K-12 dual language program, where it would be at, all of that came through the strategic plan. Our seal of biliteracy, which will be reported on in about a month, many of those things go through there. So you can see the full list. As people have children who graduate, or in Dr. New's case, as she retires, there might be some people that leave the strategic planning committee. So we always have space to add people to this committee. If you are interested in the background of the past strategic plans, you'll see those here. So you can see where we were years ago, where we are now. If you'd like to see Dr. Joftis's reports from 2008 up to 2022, and to see what was his review of the district, what data did he look at, you'll get a chance to see those reports. So this is intended to be as transparent as possible with the reports we receive. In 5 years, we look forward to being accredited again, fully accredited, using that OVT team. So when we say OVT, it's outside visitation team, and the support that they'll be giving us. Today's report we will be receiving in a number of months, I believe, in terms of what they found in their visit, although they gave us a verbal report at the end of our visit today.
So yes, within 30 days, we'll get their report with their feedback to us.
Once we receive that, we will start adding our OVT visits within our strategic plan so everyone can see the alignment and how this looks. At this time, are there any questions regarding our strategic planning or the OVT visit?
I did have a question. So they are going to report back in about a month with our next steps. Is that correct?
So they will give us a report and they will report out on the areas that we wrote our report to this time, the 5 board outcomes, and give us feedback. The feedback will include, they go through today like a list of successes and opportunities for us, and then they do make some recommendations.
And then that will be shared with your strategic planning committee on
Yes, so that
on our draft and our editing.
correct. So that will be shared with the board. It will be shared with various stakeholder groups, and then also with the strategic planning committee.
Great. Thank you. I want to thank the team that put that on. Sat in on it last year, and it is a lot of work, and you all do such a nice job presenting. So I'm anxious to look through this notebook. Thank you.
I do have a question, Madam President. How often do these groups meet? Any,
So the outside visitation team for each district meets annually.
okay, but what about you? Talked about some of these committees and.
Strategic
work-
plan?
Yeah, those.
And each one is different. However, sometimes if it's around a particular goal, it's much like the technology committee kind of folds into the strategic plan. But at least once a quarter, you can expect some level of gathering once a quarter. Now, each school's building level team will feed into the strategic plan. So if you are interested and you'd like to know the quarterly times when we'll be coming together, often they are around the staff development days. So October would likely be the very first one, somewhere around that time. And then the next one would be somewhere around that January time. And if there are large areas that we're addressing, you'll see each month potentially other smaller committees meeting. We'll send out something to the board to see if you'd like to attend any of those. Now, not everyone comes to every meeting because people work, and during the day when we have staff development, teachers are more available than perhaps some families. But if you're passionate about something that's going to be talked about, often that's when you might see other individuals attending. I do have to give a hats off to Washburn University. They've been part of the strategic plan since I've started and have come to really every meeting. I think it's the Dean of Education, I believe, at Washburn University. That's been a steadfast partner, as has the DCAC member, Dick Carter at Topeka High. He's been a steadfast member for all 7 of my years on the, I think it's college and career readiness or perhaps technology.
Yeah, he also did communication.
Oh, that's right. I guess he has been on 3 different committees.
Any other questions? I hope you enjoy the read. Good information in there. Thank you.
Our next report is from the Topeka High School Historical Society. I believe the team with us. And thank you for being here this evening and for your tremendous service to Topeka High.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. And thank you, Mr. Gowan, for running the slides. Can I just kind of tell you next slide? Perfect. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank the Topeka Public Schools Board of Education members and Superintendent Dr. Anderson for inviting us here and giving us the opportunity to update all of you on the recent projects and events at Topeka High School that the Historical Society has been a part of. My name is Michelle Neese. I served as the president of the Topeka High School Historical Society in 2022 and continue to serve as a board member. I am also here with Joan Barker. She is our executive secretary. She has been critical to achieving all of our accomplishments for many years. So if we want to go to the next slide. Since we last were able to update you, we did celebrate the school's 150th anniversary. Our celebration began with 2,000 cupcakes that were given out to the students on the front lawn. If you could go to the next slide, we have a picture of our large order of cupcakes, black and gold, of course. We celebrated that on September 17th of 2021. That was exactly 150 years since Topeka High's establishment or birthday, as we liked to call it. Festivities for the 150th anniversary ended on May 2022. If you'd like to go to the next slide, with the graduate variety show, followed by a professional laser light show that was put on up against the building and the tower there, of course. We organized several other events in between those two big events, and we had thousands of graduates and supporters and community members who attended those events, and it was really a great success for the Historical Society and for the school. The next slide, we have some pictures of some recent projects that we've been able to complete. These next few were particularly made possible by some very generous Topeka High School graduates. This picture here shows the Barrett Plaza. That's on the Western Avenue side of the school. 7 siblings sponsored the initial construction of this plaza and have since donated even more benches and picnic tables to create a comfortable and welcoming outdoor seating area. This plaza has become a favorite gathering area for the students, and it even functioned as a dance floor during the pandemic when one of the dances had to be hosted outside. The restoration, the next big project that we've completed was the restoration of the Topeka High School foyer and main hall. This photo here is actually from 1931. That's the original, how the foyer originally looked. Since that time, there were many layers of paint and other things that were used to maintain the foyer. However, because of an extremely generous gift from Doris Darrington, who is the class of 1951, we were able to restore the foyer to its original historical look. If you go to the next slide, we've got a picture. So here's a couple pictures of the work that was done. They had to barricade off or section off parts of the foyer and as well as the ceilings to have them restored to their original state. If you can go to the next one. There were several layers of paint that had to be carefully and thoroughly, I guess, scraped off. And if you go to the next one. And now here's what it looks like finished. It is absolutely beautiful. The ceiling has been repainted. The architectural details, you can notice the little florets on the ceiling were painted with new paint to accent them. The stone walls are now looking back to pretty much their original state. It really looks beautiful, and we would encourage any of you to come view the building. The upcoming or another project that we recently finished where there were 2 class sponsored benches that were installed on the front lawn. Yeah, this is another photo of the main showcase that we have in the foyer. And then if you go to the next slide, that's what it looks like walking in. And then this is an example of 2 benches that were just installed on the front lawn this week, actually, for the class yesterday. Yeah. So class of 2002 and the class of 2023, very ahead of the game already, donated extra benches that were installed yesterday. Upcoming projects, we have 4 fireplaces that we are paying to have cleaned, including repairing the mortar. I think we have a picture of one of those fireplaces. So this is the one in the library. It will get cleaned and spruced up. We are also paying for some mortar work to be done on the veranda wall and the gym entrances. This is a photo of the veranda. So we will pay to have that cleaned up and fixed up and used historic and appropriate materials to do that. And then the next slide should show some of the work that we'll do on the gym entrances, which are on the west side of the high school. Lastly, Topeka High School has been honored, is honored to have been chosen to participate in an exhibit that is being organized by the Beach Museum of Art. The exhibit is called To the Stars Through Art, a history of art collecting in Kansas Public Schools, 1900 through 1950. David Overmeyer's art at Topeka High School will be featured in a section outlining the relationship between schools and the Kansas New Deal art projects and the shared history of the Topeka Art Guild and the Topeka High School. Here is the teacher's cafeteria that shows off some of that art. If you have any questions about any of these projects or upcoming things that we will be doing, we'd be happy to answer questions for you or give you additional information. I know that Joan has also brought a copy of the book, Troy, Halls of Troy, for each of the board members. That was created by a Topeka High School graduate, Gary Crowey. And we also just want to reiterate that we really appreciate and thank the board for all their support in keeping Topeka High School a beautiful historic building that is maintained and can be used for many future generations of Trojans. You know, I think it's definitely a pride of the community and of Topeka. So thank you all. Anyone have any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Oh, wait, no, I think we have a couple.
Oh, sorry, apologize. It's trying to sneak out of here.
Yeah.
Well, first, I want to thank you as a beneficiary. So thank you for this. I can't wait to look through it and then return to you, Ms. Barker.
No, you can keep the book.
Oh, I thought, thank you so much. Okay, so my son attends Topeka High and my daughter will next year. So I get to enjoy all these amazing renovations. So thank you so much. And I also want to tell you that last night was Dogs on the Lawn. Did you see that cake? Did you see that cake? They had a special cake made with and Dr. Schumacher's wife was helping like pass out snacks, and that cake was amazing. It had the tower on it. And anyway, that was wonderful. And also I attended the talent show and then the laser show when was that? Last May. Okay. So about a year ago. The talent of the alums was amazing. And so a lot of people came on Zoom and performed or just sent recordings of themselves. And then there were also like live bands. Like I think it was a current teacher was up there like performing. It was really, really great talent. And then that laser show was also amazing. So can we do it again? 155th year?
Yes.
Please. That was really fun.
Yeah.
All right. We have some other Topeka High lovers who have comments.
Yes, Dr. Tate or Mr. Tatum.
Thank you. I also wanted to thank you for the book. I think that's incredible. I'm absolutely going to be delighted with joy to flip through and see what all is in these pages. I am a alum of Topeka High. I'm with the proud class of 1989, and as you were flipping, as we were watching the different slides flip by, it occurred to me, I don't know if we have anything, my class, we probably do, but I don't know if we, like a bench that says class of, instead of 2006, 1989. I don't remember. I don't know if either of you remember right off where you may have seen that.
Top of my head, I don't know, but we have a list of all the class gifts that we know of. And so give me a call tomorrow and I'll look that up.
Okay, fantastic. Will do. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Schumacher?
Yeah.
And then Dr. Bonebreak.
Ms. Barker has known me since maybe I was in diapers. I don't know. And I hope she knows that I appreciate her very much. And I appreciate the THS Historic Society as another alum. My question, going to Topeka High, I never appreciated I did. We had a celebration when I was there. We got a letter from Bill Clinton and we were pretty excited about that. Somebody read it. But I didn't appreciate it, and I don't know that I understood what you did with the Historic Society and how that's different than Topeka High and TPS 501. Can you explain like a little bit about what the Historic Society, what it does, but more importantly, like how do you get the funds to do all these? I know there's class gifts and
Sure.
donations and that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk a little bit about that. So the Topeka High Historical Society is a separate nonprofit organization. There's a board of directors. We are all volunteers, and we make up this board. And Joan, the high school is gracious enough to host Joan and our office in the high school. She is located out of what used to be the home ec apartment, right? Or the little apartment. Yeah. We operate purely on donations from supporters from the community, from graduates, from alumni, current parents, whatever the case may be. We try and do a lot of events and reaching out to alumni. Sometimes we have alumni, for example, with the foyer, Doris Darrington, that was very important to her to fund trying to restore the foyer back to kind of its original glory. And she made a very generous gift from her estate. And that's primarily how that one was funded. And the Barrett Plaza obviously came from that family. However, we also have lots of projects that are funded by small donations that, come in from a large, very varied group of people who donate money to us. And then we do our best to use those dollars to keep the building and the grounds looking beautiful. And not only that, but to keep it, to keep the school as beautiful and wonderful for future generations as it was for all of us when we went there. So, a lot of it is about paying it forward and keeping the school as beautiful and functional and, just a joy to go to as it was for the generations before us. So.
We did, if I mentioned, just have a very generous donation to redo the greenhouse in its entirety. It came from a former teacher
we're redoing the greenhouse. Sorry, Dr. Anderson. It came from a former teacher whose mother is an alum and has donated so that we can completely tear it off and redo the greenhouse.
Yeah.
In need. So cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Dr. Bonebrake.
In board member comments, I was going to talk more about the Build Our Little Theater Committee. And we met again today, and I wonder if we could get some financial support through the Foundation for the Historical Society. I'll talk some more about it. I've got I can give you a handout of what I was going to pass out before I pass out.
Yeah.
We can't commit funds right now. I don't have the authority. Michelle doesn't have that authority, but definitely that's something that can be discussed.
Yeah. That's right.
Any other questions? What a gift this book is it's very special for me. I sure appreciate having it. Thank you. Is this a fundraiser? This selling of the book?
In a certain way it is. Gary Crowley has,
Here, yeah.
he gave the Topeka High Historical Society the balance of the books that had not been purchased during his initial sales of them, and allow us to use them as we see fit, and they're also available for purchasing.
Well, thank you for seeing fit for me to get one. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. That school is very special to me, as you know. Thank you for all that you're doing for the building and to keep it restored and make people believe it's Hogwarts. I know students that come to visit always think that,
Yeah.
and the foyer is just beautiful. And seeing your other projects is very exciting. Yes, Joan?
We couldn't do any of these projects without the support of Topeka Public Schools. It's not our building, but we are definitely wholeheartedly supportive and are eager to step up to the plate when projects need attention.
And it's so nice to have you in the building. I know that you're a great support even for the students there, that you encourage them about the importance of the high school that they're going through or attending. So thank you so much for all that you're doing for that building. And it is our pleasure to allow you to do that for Topeka Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Topeka High Historical Society is incredible, and Miss Joan is pretty amazing. Let's just thank them one more time. That does conclude the superintendent's reports. As you move down, Madam President, to discussion items, Ms. Wallace will just remind you what's in your background sheet regarding resource adoption. You're not adopting it tonight. She's just going to remind you in a very general way what's listed as future resources. And then the next time we come together, we'll be asking for you to adopt some textbooks. Ms. Wallace.
So thank you. You have in front of you a spreadsheet that kind of outlines resources that we're requesting be adopted for this next school year. Sure. So on the board docs, you have a description of what all of these are. We have Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, French 1 and French 2. And those are the languages that we're adopting or requesting to be adopted this year. And then phasing in levels 3 and 4 moving forward. And then social studies, 7th and 8th grade, and Kansas history. Previously, this was the resource we purchased for 6th grade social studies. And then there are a variety of CTE textbooks for FACS classes and woodworking and construction.
This is pretty exciting to get these resources. Do we have any questions along the board? Yes, Mr. Munoz.
On average, when we purchase books, how long do they last us?
So we look at adopting over a 7-year cycle.
Unless we change the district.
Any other questions or discussions on the curriculum? Possible adoption in the agenda next time? Mr. Munoz?
Sorry, I just, the other question I have is, how do we figure out what books need, renewing, or we need to sort of update because either they're out of date or they're just the quality of the book for our students just aren't to where we want it to be? Do we have some sort of system that sort of keeps a track of all books throughout the district?
Yes, we do have a spreadsheet that includes all the resources purchased. But we also, like I said, they're on a 7-year cycle. Some of them have been deferred a few times, so they might be a little bit older than the 7 years right now. And so we're looking at how we can, over the next few years, get those resources caught up and on schedule.
Mr. Campbell.
Yeah, Ms. Wallace, how is it decided, like, who looks over the materials, like who's on the selection committee?
So it varies, but for example, for Spanish and French, because it's such a small department and we have only a handful of world language and Spanish and French teachers, all of those teachers participate during a curriculum and assessment meeting. And then they spend several months reviewing them. They look at them to identify whether or not they meet the standards, the state standards. And then they also look at some of the, is it current? Is there a diverse representation? So they create a rubric prior to looking at any resources, and then they utilize that to evaluate them.
Mhm. Thank you. I saw Dr. Pazat's name on there, and just for those who don't know or don't remember, we are very lucky to have her because she was the world language consultant at the Department of Education and is now a French teacher at Topeka West.
French
right?
teacher and the consulting teacher for world languages.
Wonderful.
As a side note, I think you invited her to come speak to us and then we recruited her. And so at the end of that year, she came to come and work for us.
We are lucky. Yeah, very. Any other questions or concerns that you need before it will come to vote next meeting? I do want to say that was part of our retreat and one of the things that we had a concern about. And so it's great that our leadership team is addressing that. And thank you for doing that and updating these books for our students. So now we'll be looking at our calendar for board meetings for next year. And you received that last meeting. And do you have any concerns or anything that you caught that you needed to bring to our attention before we vote on it tonight? Mr. Munoz.
I just had a question for Ms. Lister. If anything that sort of stood out to you that we might just want to be aware of in terms of like long time spans between meetings or anything out of the ordinary? I know every year is different, so.
I tried to mark those. Remember, the first meeting in July was set last year. So we had a little bit of a choice in there for when we have the next meeting. And sometimes it throws it off in different places, but November we'll have 3 meetings in order to accommodate the holiday breaks so that we're not having our second meeting in December, which would normally be the 21st, which is, I think, when kids get out of school for the holiday break. And I'm sure if you're traveling, you don't want to mess with that. So we put it back a week. And it is still at noon. The only thing, and I called it to your attention last time, is if you wanted to make that an evening meeting, that's up to you. I mean, you can direct me and I'll make that change when you make your motion. Or if you want to leave it at noon.
Okay, thank you.
And, or we can do it as we get closer. If we have a lot of business that needs to be done, we can always make a motion later on to change it.
Any other questions or concerns or a discussion about what she just mentioned? The noon meeting. With the option to change if we find we have more business. Do I have a motion? Dr. Bonebrink. Do I have a second? Dr. Schumacher? Ms. Lister, may we have a vote?
The vote is open.
Thank you.
Thank you. All votes are in and the motion carries unanimously.
Board comments. Anybody, Dr. Bonebrink, do you mind starting down at that end?
Take one and pass it on. The Build Our Little Theater is an ongoing issue. There's been over $100,000 available to build a little theater. The other high schools in the district have 2 or 3 performance areas, and Topeka High has one, although it's a Rolls Royce of a area, it is huge. And some performances sort of demand a smaller atmosphere. There was previous examinations in the bowels of the earth. But they found this one storage area next to the auditorium that no one really knew about, but it has decades of props and wood, and it's a fascinating area, and it would hold like 77 patrons with a little stage. But we were thinking today, maybe we could make another classroom so it had multi-uses. Initially, we thought for a year we'd see how often it might be used or the possibilities, and then try to develop it around that. It'll take more than $100,000 to do that. Going to have to build lights and clean it out and, you know, get some seats. But the staff there pretty much volunteer, and the classes, there's a lot of conflicting classes that happen that could use that space. If you've not been, I'd never seen it before, and Mrs. Morrissey hadn't even seen it and was surprised to find it. But, you know, like I said, there's decades old scenery and things there, which you're going to sort of separate, put on the auditorium stage after classes are over, and see what should be saved or sold or whatever, but then lights put in, and we'll go from there. So you've got sort of a workout of what we'd like to accomplish. We had an initial architect decide he'd look into it for $20,000, but I just don't think that's necessary. But get it cleaned out, it'd be, I think, pretty impressive. And to have these smaller performances. And additionally, I think we all saw this email from a McEachran teacher where somebody just walked into the building through an unlocked door in the back. And two people from McEachran came up to me tonight and said, "Are you guys going to do anything about it? A little more security at that building. They'd really like something done. They feel rather unsafe." And I'm wondering, as we have $20 million of these ESSER dollars, which won't be renewed probably, but if we could see about, I know we're not going to be able to expand the school year, but maybe we could make some smaller classrooms. You've all heard me talk about John Hattie, but I really think if we could make smaller classrooms, maybe 15 students max, and see how that goes as sort of a pilot project to use our ESSER dollars. Maybe this would prove of benefit. I can't help think, but it would. I mean, if I had 20 deliveries to do, that's a lot more difficult than 10. But be that as it may, that's just a suggestion we could do. We wouldn't have, and in fact, this little theater thing could be used as a classroom for the interim until they decide exactly how they're going to design it. But look into something like that to improve education and see if we can't keep our kids in the state and attract more people instead of giving $4 billion to companies tax-free to come here. Maybe we could attract people to come here with the best education in the United States. That's all I have. Thank you.
Dr. Schumacher.
Yeah, I don't think I really have too much. I just am excited for, it's a busy time, I know, for everybody. But for the next 2 weeks before we meet again, we'll be celebrating a lot of graduates. And I'm really excited to share the stage, not only with Mr. Cool and Ms. Broza, who were very impressive, but also all the other students from all our different schools that have worked very hard over their educational careers. Oh, and I am also very excited about the Washburn announcement and the work that's gone on in our community to help continue to move Topeka forward. And if we can be part of that, I'm excited about that too.
Mr. Tatum.
Thank you, Madam President. I actually have a few quick items that I'd like to mention for the benefit of the board. Last Saturday, I had the privilege of being a part of the ShareFest event that happened all across Topeka and Shawnee County. And really, that's an activity, an event that my church, my home church congregation participates in on a regular basis. But it was a delight to be able to be at Highland Park Central High School, which is where our church chose to spend our time, and to work alongside Miss Whiteman in a different capacity than we do here, because we were raking leaves together. Weeds and mulch. It was a great experience. I know we had several people show up. I know I talked with Dr. Anderson there as well. Mr. Garrett took my picture. And then there was a number of others that just came out to show how we can support one of our local schools. That was just one of the many sites across Shawnee County that was the focus of this community-wide event. And it was a fantastic experience. The day was great. The weather was perfect. And so just kind of wanted to give a shout out for the work we can do when we come together for a common purpose. Along those lines, I wanted to call out an award that several schools in our district was recently announced that we would receive. The Kansas State Department of Education announced on Monday, May 1st, that the Confidence in Kansas Public Education Task Force named 91 schools as the recipients of the 2022 Challenge Awards. The KSD noted that the awards recognize schools that make a difference in student achievement despite significant challenges in the school population. And this task force was making these awards based not upon districts, but upon individual schools within the districts. And I am happy to say that we have several schools in 501 that were recognized with this award. And they are Chase Middle School, McCarter Elementary School, McEachran Elementary School, Quincy Elementary School, Scott Dual Language Magnet Elementary School, and Whitson Elementary School. So that's just phenomenal. I'm so proud of these schools and the fact that they worked hard and their efforts are being recognized by the Kansas State Department of Education and some of the folks that work there. Thirdly, wanted to also call attention, another article that I read in the news this week. There are 4 local school districts here in Shawnee County that have partnered with a group called Educate Kansas to offer competitive resources and support to teachers and new school staff members. This is the first collaboration to launch #Inspired to Teach 2, the number 2 teach, an initiative to inspire and hire educators. I was particularly impressed because this is a collaborative effort with 4 districts, school districts here in Shawnee County, who you would think intuitively they're working against each other to try to to be the top spot for recruiting and attracting teachers and other professionals. But in this instance, they're working together. So I was really curious about how that process will play out. So maybe at some point, we can hear a little bit about this endeavor and our role in making this come together and move forward. Lastly, I want to mention in circling back to the video that we watched earlier this evening, in which the students were going to a professional that had mentored or inspired them in some way and saying, "You made a difference for me." I know our president got teary-eyed. It was incredibly emotional for me, and I was just incredibly blessed and encouraged by what I saw. You know, in my work, I support the mission and the objectives of my organization, but I don't always get to see the fruits of my work played out. I don't often get a chance to see the direct benefit of the work that I do in the lives of the people in our community. This is an instance in which you know that you did well when someone that you supported and stood by thick and thin comes back to you at some later date and says, "You have no idea the impact that you had on my life. Thank you for what you did." That is why we do this work. That's what it's all about. So we didn't get a chance to debrief about that video too much, but I did think about that quite a bit as the video was ending and did want to share that. And that's one of the things that I'm really proud about that this district does very, very well. And that's all I have.
Mr. Munoz.
Yes, I believe it was last week where I had the honor to be able to attend the Distinguished Staff Awards. We have lots of amazing staff here at Topeka Public Schools, and everyone pours their heart and gives 100% every day to be able to help support students be successful. And sometimes there are individuals who go above and beyond what you can even imagine they're already doing. And so the Distinguished Staff Awards was an opportunity to be able to highlight 20 some odd individuals who were nominated and who went through a process to be selected for the work that they do in Topeka Public Schools. So I was honored to be there and to hear story after story of individuals who have been here for a number of years, who wouldn't be, if they had an opportunity, wouldn't be anywhere else but at Topeka Public Schools. So it was an honor to be there on behalf of the board and to share our appreciation for the work that they do. And, you know, when we walk into this room, their photos are out in the hallway. And I think I always make a concerted effort to sort of gaze upon individuals who do so much and to know that that their efforts are extraordinary, and that you know, I need to be in a place where I'm giving and doing as much as I can as well. And so I think I'm blessed and honored to be able to be there and look forward to many more, hopefully, and that we can be there and show our appreciation. I was at ShareFest. I was at Chase on Saturday. There's a lot of hard work, and it wasn't easy. But I think what I most took from that was there's a lot of local churches who want to show their love and by serving, and we're honored and blessed to be able to be on the receiving end of that. So I shared my appreciation with a number of churches locally here in our community. And lastly, I'll just say that I am equally looking forward to graduation. It's the best part of the year. Obviously, it's the work of countless teachers, and we were able to sort of see these students walk across the stage and onto their future lives, wherever that may be. So look forward to that here happening in about a week or so.
Ms. Stewart Campbell.
Okay. So per Madam President's request, I contacted Dr. Weisman at the Kansas Association of School Boards regarding the general district survey that we voted to move forward on at our last meeting. And Dr. Weisman talked about the very productive conversation that she had had with Dr. Anderson and other district administration prior to our discussion meeting on April 6th. And how much Dr. Anderson's support and interest in yet another data point from an external entity so we can continue to move our district forward. So she was really just really delightful to talk to. And we talked about how to best align the survey with the strategic plan, how to collect data to best monitor our goals. And Dr. Weisman reiterated what she told us in April, that really the ideal time to conduct it is at the end of the first quarter of the next school year, and on a professional development day where we give the staff the time, and they're getting paid, right? So the time and the space to do it, to complete it, and that's our best chance of increasing the response rate, which is one of the main goals. She said that because this survey is by the board in partnership and with the support of the superintendent and district administration, that we'll need to have a committee of only board members, either 2 or 3. And she told me that she was going to consult with Ms. Whiteman about how to do that. So we'll follow up with Ms. Whiteman about that. She said that this committee will work under KASB's guidance with how to best craft the questions, especially in light of all the post-COVID learning loss and the very real mental health concerns that are facing our staff and our students. She said that they would probably use an instrument like SurveyMonkey, and I'm looking at Dr. Kipp here, and she said, so it can be online. And she reiterated what Dr. Kipp had told us, that it is completely anonymous and nobody has anything to worry about. However, recognizing the perception that an internal, even though it's anonymous, people are anonymous, and we wish people would feel comfortable, but they too will use a SurveyMonkey. However, to further ensure trust and confidence by all the staff members who are completing it, that they're going to add another layer of anonymity by pulling the reports and aggregating it and the data into their own report. So people should have complete trust and confidence that there's no way that they can be identified, and they just share their ideas about how the district can move forward, can continue to improve. As far as the costs, okay, this surprised me. This really surprised me. Okay. So when I first asked her, she said she wasn't sure, she'd get back to me. And in my mind, it was going to be very high. So she said, I'll get back to you. And then so we exchanged phone numbers, and she texted me, and I was like, is this right? And I wrote her back, I said, is this for the whole thing? And she said, yes. Okay. Because Topeka 501 is a due paying member of the Kansas Association of School Boards, we get the member discount, and the range is between $900 and $1,500. I'm like, for everything? I was like, was that for our phone call? And she said, no, for everything. She said, plus her mileage. And I did ask her if our phone call, because we talked for about an hour, I asked her if the phone call was going to be charged, which I would understand, it's her time and expertise. And she said, no, that's pro bono. We're really happy to work with you all. So I have that good news to share. it was really just a pleasure to talk with her. And I want to thank Dr. Anderson for making that initial phone call and suggesting them, because it was a great idea to work with KASB. So I, for one, have complete confidence in their expertise, professionalism, and confidentiality. Can't wait to see everybody at graduation, and may the 4th be with you.
So just a couple of comments. I happened to be at Highland Park High School's scholarship and awards evening last night, and I believe on Monday is Topeka West. If you get an opportunity to visit one of these and see all of the community support and scholarships that are handed out to our students, and of course, all their academic awards that they receive, it is pretty incredible. I want to give a shout out, which I don't think they like shout outs, but so a whisper out that Dr. Anderson and her late husband gave a scholarship, 3 last night. I think it was 3 scholarships last night at Highland Park High School. And our very own Mr. Robbins and his wife handed out, I think, 3 scholarships last night also. And Miss Lister's family also handed out 1 scholarship, I believe it was. And so very much appreciate the love that you all show our students as well. So thank you and your families for that. I really love the idea of all the instruments that were purchased. We are an award-winning music district, and it's something we should be very proud of. Many districts have had to give up their music departments and other departments, and ours is going strong, and we're winning awards, and you just passed some money for purchasing of instruments and repairs of instruments to keep that program going. So many generous donations were given by our community for our Appreciation Week, for our teachers, our principals, our scholarships. And I just want to thank all of those who have donated that are on our board agenda today, of how important that is for our students and our teachers, and we really appreciate that. The Adaptive Play Day was today for our special education students out at Hummer. Unfortunately, they got rained out, but they got a good, strong 1 hour in and had a really good time. And I want to thank all of those instructors and paraprofessionals and community members who brought items out to be part of that as well. It made a big difference, and those students, they were smiling like crazy. Also, I want to remind board members, thank you, Dr. Bonebrake, for your questions for the survey. And if any of the other board members have any, so that Ms. Stewart Campbell and I have a good idea of your mindset on what you want in there, we would love to have those questions. And May 24th is 8th grade graduation, all at the same time, 8 o'clock. So you might want to try to reach one of those. You can't go to all of them. So just a reminder that that's on the 24th at 8 o'clock in the morning. I think we are ready for adjournment. Thank you for your time here on the board. And do I have a motion for adjournment? Do I have a second? A whole bunch of them. Thanks. Have a good evening. Okay, Melanie.